As a syndication attorney, I meet a lot of syndication, real estate fund, investment fund sponsors, and managers. As a syndicator myself, I also meet even more. Now, there are some common traits that go throughout syndicators that are especially successful. Let's talk about those traits, because maybe they're traits that you can emphasize or build within yourself in order to be even more successful than you are. So what makes a great syndicator, a great sponsor, investment fund manager? What are those things? Well, certainly it's great leadership, being able to work with a bunch of different people and lead them towards a common goal. That's very important. Maybe it's financial acumen, really understanding the market and understanding where things are going. That's certainly important. Maybe it's negotiation, being able to do things, make it the very best deal for their sponsors. That's there. Maybe it's risk mitigation, being able to identify risks and mitigate those risks so that your investors get the best return possible. That's there. Maybe it's the ability to build trust and to get people to be all on the same page. And if they're not on the same page, maybe to at least trust you enough to take the ball and run with it. That's probably pretty close to the very top. So those are some of the basic, just broad overviews of the big ideas that are part of what makes an especially good syndicator or investment fund sponsor. As you're coming along and as you're beginning your career as a sponsor, there are hurdles along the way. As with anything, you have two jobs as a sponsor. So the first job, find investors. Second job, find deals. Put them together. That's what you really are doing every day to make sure it happens. Finding investors is challenging. It takes a while to get comfortable with it. It takes a while to get to understand how to talk to investors in a way that makes them trust you enough to give you money. And it's just hard. I mean, it's just, you're going to somebody and you're saying, hey, let me use your money so I can make more money. It's not the easiest thing in the world. The real ticket to it, though, is learning how to do it for yourself, learning how to talk to yourself in order to be truly successful. Learning how to see your own value so that you have the confidence necessary when you're talking to investors. It's paramount. But I do totally understand that finding that key within yourself is challenging, and it's probably the greatest hurdle that you're going to have to face when you're looking to become a sponsor. One thing that can certainly help new sponsors grow and be better in this business is to grow your professional network. So it's not only growing the network of your investors, that's very important, but it's also growing that network of who you're going to call. So I like to think of the Rolodex, right? So people of a certain age, we all know what a Rolodex is. For those of you that don't, you can think of it as your contact list in your phone. So that Rolodex of people, of numbers I can call. I need help with this. Who is that person? Or at least know how I can get there. I have to deal with that a lot as an attorney, where I'll get a question about something. How can I do something from a client of mine? And I need to come up with some resources for them, because I may not specialize in that area of law. For example, if it's an employment thing, they want to do some sort of benefit program for some of their officers in their syndication. That's not me that knows that, but I do know a lot of people, and I do know a lot of people that I can refer them to, and then it's just a matchmaking game there to see, well, this person really would be probably best served by them. But being able to have that Rolodex actually adds to that confidence that you have. It makes you not as afraid to say, I don't know, because you already know who does know, right? So if you can say to an investor or whatever it is, hey, look, I don't know the answer to that question, but I know who does, and I know how we can answer it for you. You're going to be very trustworthy in their eyes, because that's really what they're hiring us for. Not only is it for our acumen and leadership and financial ability, but also being able to get that problem solved, whatever comes up along the way, solved in the best way. And the best way to do that is by having that strong professional network of knowing who you're supposed to contact in the first place. A lot of times people will work with a mentor or a collaborator in order to lift themselves up. And that's a great way to get started too. So if you're newer in the business, you may work with somebody. You may work with somebody like myself who also works on the legal side, but also we do our best to make sure that you're successful in your deal. Sometimes you may work with another developer or another person who's done a bunch of syndications and collaborate together so that you get the best of both worlds, that there's some synergy there, and that your investors are well suited. That can be a great tool to go to. Generally, there are a lot of people out there who have classes, and those classes can be very good. Some of them are not very good. Your mileage may vary radically. I would suggest you probably should talk to people who've done the deals first. Like myself, if you want to give us a call, we can certainly help you with understanding the market better, to understand who you may want to have a coaching relationship with. Or other syndicators who have had success in order to really understand it. I would recommend that before I jump into anybody's program. One of the most important things, though, for your overall success, again, it goes back to the investors and it goes back to trust, is developing your ability to be truly communicative and transparent. Being able to tell people that you don't know. Being able to communicate whenever something bad happens. If something bad happens, you should get almost excited, because now is an opportunity to talk to your investor or talk to whoever it is. And now it's going to be an opportunity for you to build on that relationship and build on that level of trust. Obviously, you're not going to go looking for trouble, but having difficult discussions can be a very positive thing for you in the long run, as uncomfortable as it is in the short run. And having that mindset of, we can solve this problem, we can grow from here, we can get much better, is critical to becoming successful in this business, because things are absolutely going to happen. Deals are going to go sideways. There are going to be challenges in fundraising that you're going to have to come up with crazy ways in order to solve. It's just part of the business. And there always is a way to get it done. But you always have to be willing to talk about it and be transparent about what's going on. Instant you do that, you lose the trust. If you forget to talk about what's going on, you're going to lose the trust. So I've talked to clients who are going to lose money in their syndication they talk to. They're going to lose a lot of money. I have a few clients who brought me in later. I didn't help them put their deal together, but they brought me in later, showed me a deal that they have a problem with, and will lose all of the investor money. So how do you deal with a situation like that? The best way to do it is transparency, communicate, so that way there is at least the trust that at the end of the day you're on the same side as your investor. Similarly related, at least in my mind, is growing ourselves at the same time. So not only allowing our investors to grow and be able to understand and grow that trusting relationship, but how do we grow ourselves? And the best way to do that is to do continuous learning and to do improvement. Now, regardless of what I said previously about about finding specific trainers or things like that, that's an okay place. There may be specific roles, but learning the actual skills, the actual hands-on skills, is very important. I personally believe it's very difficult to teach sales. I think if you want to find somebody to help you learn capital raising, I think you're going to have some challenges. I don't think there's a lot of people out there who can do that. I think there is one person who I could recommend, and if you ever want to know who that is, feel free to give me a call, and we can talk about your project and we can see if that kind of person is appropriate. But the rest of them out there, the rest of them with the books and the shiny things and the glitzy, light-centered, stage shows, they're probably not it. The kind of learning that I'm talking about is details or learning that you can actually learn in the fundamentals. I got my CCIM designation because I knew it would be important for me to be able to understand investments at a deeper level than I knew. After I got my CCM designation, I decided to work on becoming a certified financial analyst. I am not finished with that process. I finished the first test. I finished the second test, which, by the way, is really hard, probably harder than the bar. It was really tough. The third test is up and coming. I will still take it. I just need to find time in my very busy schedule between doing deals and helping clients in order to get it done. But that focus on improving and always improving is part of what we do. I have podcasts in my car. I have books on my shelf. I'm reading constantly. I'm constantly either working on clients, working on deals, or bettering myself. Those are the three things that I do, besides the time that I spend with my family, which is even more important. It's also useful to leverage technology for your success. Now, most commonly, you'll use things like an investor portal. So investor portal software allows your investors to be able to log in and see what's going on in their investment. They are terrific. They're not necessarily terrific just because it simplifies your life. I think they're terrific because in the mind of this investor, it means, wow, this guy's really a pro, that I can get my info just like as if I'm going to Charles Schwab, right? So that they can get their things, they can see their taxes at 2 a.m. in the morning if they want to. I think that's really cool. I think it makes investors look really, think of you very, very favorably. There are other things that I think are very important, like a customer relationship management software, CRM, is super important. If you know me at all, you know I rely very heavily on my CRM. That's how all the communication goes out. My entire business revolves around me using my CRM in order to stay in contact with my clients, stay in contact with my investors, make sure communications go out so I stay top of mind, make sure everything that comes in properly and that nothing gets dropped. It's all part of what I do. Now, without my CRM, without the technology relying on it, boy, would I be in trouble. So, because I need it. I mean, it's just a fact of life. There are too many clients that I have to stay on top of. I need to look at notes to be able to say, oh yeah, that was the client that we're doing this deal for. Otherwise, I won't remember. So I do look at my notes, just as an aside, look at my notes before meeting with my clients so that I can catch myself up. Once I see what it was regarding, I remember the client and I remember everything that's going on, but it's challenging. I guess my last point, to be truly successful as a syndicator, as an investment fund manager, is to look long-term, think long-term. The decisions that you make now, if you make them for short-term gain, you will lose in the long run. Making a decision to take that additional 0.1% for yourself in exchange for taking it or giving it to your investors may be a costly mistake. If you think long-term about the nurturing and care and stewardship of your investors, of their money, if that's your primary thing, you will be very successful in this business because investors not only will trust you, but you have earned their trust, right? You've shown them that you absolutely can deliver on what you've promised them. They'll believe that you always consider that you've put their best interest first, which is what you really kind of need to do anyway. You do need to make money in this business and you do need to do things, but never take something for short-term gain. I'll tell you a horror story that will make it a little bit clear. I was working on a partnership beforehand that I was a part of. So there were 4 of us as partners. A deal came in that was terrible, absolutely terrible. It was a bad deal that should have stay away from. This deal still went forward, and I pulled myself out of it very quickly, but it still went forward, and primarily was because one of the sponsors said to them, I don't care if we make any of the investors' money, we'll make a lot of money for ourselves. Oh my God, that is the absolute wrong mentality. That is the wrong mindset to have in this business. Your mindset needs to be on 100% success for your investors, with the knowledge that when your investors are successful, you are going to be successful yourself. Enough preaching. My name is Tilden Moschetti. I am a syndication attorney for the Moschetti Syndication Law Group. We help real estate syndicators businesses that are looking to raise capital, private equity funds with special offerings, all those things who are looking to raise money from investors who are going to take a passive position and put offerings together under Regulation D. That's what we do. If we can help you with your project, we'd be happy to discuss more. Give us a call or visit our website and sign up for a time, and let's talk about what you're working on.